Welcome back friends. Ni muda mrefu hatujafanya discussion ya chemistry, and today we are going to continue with our topic of states of matter. So just stay tuned. I hope you understand what I am teaching and we'll be together. Now today we are going to discuss about the concept of dilution and dilution law. So first, dilution is defined as the volume of solution in liter which contain 1 mole of solid. Therefore, dilution is a reciprocal of molar concentration. If you remember our discussion on the molar solution, we said that a molar solution is the solution containing 1 mole of a substance in a liter of solution. That is, molar solution contain 1 mole of a substance, 1 mole of a substance in 1 liter of solution. But in dilution we are discussing the concept which is approximately as the reverse of this. That is, dilution is a solution containing 1 mole of a substance. So when we are saying 1 mole, that means we can increase the volume. The volume is not necessary to be 1 liter. In other words, dilution is the process of decreasing the concentration or amount of a substance in a solution. So if we have a solution containing 1 mole of a substance, and let's say the volume of a solution is 1 liter, this will be regarded as the molar solution. Now if the amount of substance remains 1 mole and then the volume of solution has been increased to 2 liter, that is what we can call as dilution. So we are varying volume, or we are changing volume. We are changing volume without changing amount of substance. While in molar solution, we were dealing more with the number of moles rather than volume. So in dilution, we are dealing more with the volume rather than number of moles. So what we are saying is that dilution is equal to 1 over concentration. 1 over concentration in mole per dm cube. Or dilution is equal to volume of solution in dm cube divided by number of moles, because concentration is number of moles divided by volume. Now dilution will be inverse, which is volume divided by number of moles. So the units for dilution is dm cube per mole. Hiyo ni unit za dilution. Now let's look about the dilution principle. I hope wengi mmeshaiona toka in your form 3 studies, but let's see recap it. Now what you are saying ni kwamba the concentration of solution containing fixed mass or fixed number of moles of solid varies inversely proportional to its volume. Concentration of a substance containing fixed number of moles of solution varies inversely proportional to its volume. Now, as we said that dilution is equal to 1 divided by concentration. And remember, we said molar concentration, we always represent it as molarity, which is represented by capital M. So in other words, dilution D is equal to 1 divided by M. But remember molarity M is equal to number of moles divided by volume. Now dilution D will be equal to 1 divided by number of moles divided by volume. Now volume itapanda juu, itakuwa dilution D is equal to V divided by number of moles. So hivyo ndivyo ambavyo itakuwa formula ya dilution jinsi ambavyo ipo. Lakini kama tungetaka kudeal na molarity moja kwa moja, tungesema dilution is equal to 1 divided by molarity. Is equal to 1 divided by molarity. Now, since molarity is inversely proportional to volume if N is equal to constant. Molarity is inversely proportional to volume if N is equal to constant. And the dilution is inversely proportional to molarity if N is equal to constant. That means if we relate the relationship, that means molarity will also be inversely proportional to dilution. So molarity is inversely proportional to volume, molarity is inversely proportional to dilution. Because the relationship between molarity and volume is inversely proportional, also between molarity and the dilution is inversely proportional. We are concluding that dilution is directly proportional to volume. That is to say, dilution, if we are putting a certain constant, that is D is equal to KV, that is to say, dilution 1 divided by V1 is equal to dilution 2 divided by V2. Or if we are using molarity, manake tutaanzia kwenye concept of molarity, tutasema kwamba M molarity is inversely proportional to volume. So removing the proportionality sign, we will say M is equal to constant K, then V. So M times V is equal to constant K. That is to say M1 V1 is equal to M2 V2 is equal to constant K. So the general formula M1 V1 is equal to M2 V2. So M1 can be regarded as molarity of concentrated solution, that is before dilution, and M2 can be regarded as molarity of dilute solution. Then V1 can be regarded as volume of concentrated solution, and V2 can be regarded as volume of dilute solution. So that is to say M1 V1 is equal to M2 V2. Or in other words, sometimes they can represent as C1 V1. That means concentration 1 V1 is equal to concentration 2 C2 V2. But remember, if we are saying concentration, we are talking of molarity. And sometimes we can write it as molarity concentrated, that is MC, then volume concentrated, that is MVC, is equal to molarity dilute, that is MD, volume dilute, that is VD. This is the generalized expression for the dilution law. Now what we are saying ni kwamba concentration of a solution containing fixed number of moles of solid varies inversely proportional to its volume. So molarity is inversely proportional to volume. Kama molarity is inversely proportional to volume, tutafikia wapi? So tukilete K awe constant of proportionality. If we let K awe constant of proportionality, then tutapata M is equal to KV. Then M times V will be equal to K, such that MV is equal to constant. So M1 V1 is equal to M2 V2. Na kuhusu hizo molarity nimeshaelezea. Now note the number of moles remain constant in dilution, but the concentration decrease with increase in volume. That is because concentration varies inversely proportional to volume. Also, we can state our dilution principle in other way. That is, dilution principle can also be stated as if the concentrated solution is diluted by adding more solvent or water, because water is the universal solvent. Kwa na add more solvent or water, the number of moles of solid remain constant. So dilution law can be summarized as MCVC is equal to MDVD. C represent concentrated and D represent dilute. This marks the end of our discussion on dilution, and in the next session we will continue our discussion by discussing the work D examples in this part of different ways of expressing the concentration of a solution. Thank you everybody. Don't forget to subscribe the channel and to share the link of this video. If you want notes, just communicate with me using the contacts which are in the description below. Thank you. Let me wish you nice studies.